I think the comparison between Tyrion Lannister and Richard III is a very good one. 16th century historians describe Richard III, you know, as this hunchbacked, evil-looking character whose physical unpleasantness directly reflected his lack of moral character.
Richard III has been vilified through history, especially in Shakespeare, as being monstrously deformed, and you could characterize Richard III as, quote-unquote, a cripple.
That's how a lot of people see Tyrion Lannister in the world of Westeros, but of course, as the viewer, we know that's not the whole story.
He's Tyrion the Imp of House Lannister. He killed your father. He murdered the Hand of the King.
Oh, did I kill him too?
I love Richard III. He's one of my favorite historical characters. He wasn't a hunchback, he didn't have a twisted arm, but because he was the king who was deposed by Henry VII, so the Tudor historians tried to make him a physically twisted, deceitful, kin-slaying, child-slaying monster. And a lot of what happened to Richard III is happening to Tyrion.
I wish I was the monster you think I am.
Tyrion's someone who's easily cast as a villain. The dwarf, hated by the gods, so they twist his body into unfortunate shapes. This is a clear sign of the evil inside him. This was how the medieval mindset worked.
I did not kill Joffrey, but I wish that I had.
Bring me his head.
Ned Stark's a very interesting character. I mean, obviously, the patriarch of the House of Stark, which, if we're looking for Wars of the Roses parallels, is like the House of York. But if you look at Richard, Duke of York, the real historical patriarch, his career really doesn't map onto Ned's journey very well. And actually, there's another character who I think is much more comparable with Ned Stark, and that's William Lord Hastings. Now, Hastings was the great pal of Edward IV, who I think unquestionably is Robert Baratheon. And they had this very close, chummy personal relationship. And we can all remember, you know, the early episodes of season 1 where we see Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark enjoying that kind of fraternal relationship. Well, that's Hastings and Edward IV all over. And what's really interesting is Hastings helped Richard III to take the throne when Edward IV dies. But afterwards, Richard turned on him and he was summarily beheaded. And I think there's a lot of the career of Hastings that you can follow through the story of Ned Stark. You know, this loyal friend of the king who outlives the king, tries to do the right thing, and what's his reward? Head rolling in the dirt.
In the name of Robert of the House Baratheon, the first of his name.
Don't look away.
King of the Andals and the first
Father will know if you do.
I, Eddard, of the House Stark, sentence you to die.
Beheading for aristocrats started really as a decent way to get rid of an aristocrat. You'd rather be beheaded, goes the theory, than be hanged.
Kneel, my lord.
And so it became, in the real Wars of the Roses, sort of the go-to method of dispatching your enemies.
Beheadings for noble people were very common. The biggest crime is treason. So what Ned Stark does, for example, that's going to bring punishment that is fatal.
So long as I am your king, treason shall never go unpunished. Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
Glad to see you're protecting the throne.
Steady, old thing. How many King's asses have polished it, I wonder?
The Iron Throne, or really the concept of the Iron Throne in the world of Westeros, represents ultimate power. And that's pretty much how it was in medieval England as well. We're talking about actually a marble chair. Whoever was sitting on that marble chair and wearing the crown of England wielded ultimate power in the country.
I command the council to make all necessary arrangements for my coronation. I wish to be crowned within the fortnight.
What you had during the Wars of the Roses was an enormous series of factional battles between different families, all trying to take that crown, take that throne, and take power for themselves.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There is no middle ground.
I'm not sure exactly where George got the concept of what has been called the least comfortable chair in the entire kingdom. But a single power was really the definition of all medieval rulership. One person ruled. So when we get a transformation in power, when this happens anywhere in Europe, but especially in England, there's going to be everybody fighting for one side or another. No!
I did warn you not to trust me.
There will be sides taken, there will be blows, and there will be rebellions.